Welcome back for part 2 of election night. You see right now we are at 8:09 p.m. John Kerry currently in the lead with 109 electoral votes to George Bush's 73, George W. Bush's. Bush right now is leading in the popular vote. That's the only thing, with about 50.7% of the popular vote. Kerry with 47.5. Some big projections we made earlier. Florida for Kerry. Missouri for Kerry. Virginia's still too close to call. That's Bush has pulled away not really. 50-48 still. Pennsylvania still too close to call. 53-45. Kerry got a pretty sizable lead there, but let's just keep these coming in. And here we go. Once a region is called, of course, it'll appear down here. Let's just go back into Ohio, see how close that is. Tennessee has been called for Bush. That one was one of the swing states, but not really a surprise since it's a southern state, pretty conservative. We're looking at Ohio here. It's just within the same margin. Bush closes it up every once in a while. Let's go to Pennsylvania, see how close that is. That'll be interesting. Kerry got a little more of an advantage there. Looks like Kerry's closed it up in the popular vote as well. See if I can find another state that's too close to call. I think Connecticut is too close to call. Yes, it is. 52-45 right now. It's almost 9 o'clock. We'll see some important ones close here. Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And now Kansas has been called for Bush, 6 electoral votes. That'll give him 90. Connecticut has now been called for Kerry. Another big one, New York will close here at 9. I believe Texas will close at 9. Louisiana. A lot of 9 o'clock p.m. poll closings. And I believe now that Kerry has took the lead in the popular vote. Yes, he has. Barely, but he has taken the lead. Colorado and New Mexico, two big swing states that have just closed. Michigan called for Kerry, 17 electoral votes. New York for Kerry, a very big one, 31 electoral votes. Rhode Island for Kerry, 4 electoral votes. South Dakota for Bush, 3 electoral votes. Wyoming for Bush, no surprise. Kerry now with 248 projected, 168 solid. And Bush with 183 projected, 96 solid. Texas for Bush, that'll knock his count up there, 34 electoral votes, no surprise, his home state. Now it's 168 to 130. Nebraska for Bush, 5 electoral votes. Colorado for Kerry, that's a good one, 9 electoral votes. That was a swing state that was heavily contested. That'll put him up to 177. Let's go to Arizona. This will be one that's interesting. That one's close. I still don't think Virginia has been called. It hasn't, and Bush is now winning that state. Louisiana's been called for Bush, 9 electoral votes. New Mexico's been called for Kerry, that's 5 electoral votes. And by the time California comes in and the West Coast here, I think Kerry is going to have this thing wrapped up. Unless Bush can somehow... Minnesota's been called for Bush. Okay, now that's a surprise. That is a surprise. George W. Bush winning Minnesota. He gets those 10 electoral votes, and he's winning in Wisconsin, which would also be a pretty big surprise. So basically, I've got to win Pennsylvania and Ohio here to combine with California, which California was actually contested. That is shocking as that may be. It was actually a swing state at one time. Going into election night, I think I had the lead there. The polls don't close till 11 p.m. It's only 9:42. So these 10 p.m. poll closings will be Utah, Nevada, Iowa. That'll be a big one. I'm not sure how that'll go. Just about 7 minutes away from the 10 o'clock poll closings now. Let's go into Ohio one more time. It's very close there. Kerry barely with the lead. Alright, 10 o'clock, here we come. And looks like Bush took the lead in most of those states. Iowa's close. Utah's been called for Bush, 5 electoral votes. You're watching Iowa's hard count right there. That's going to be a very close one. Nevada will also be a very close one. That was a pretty heavily contested one. Now Bush actually has more of a projected electoral, well he did, it just changed. This election's getting close though. Montana's been called for Bush, 3 electoral votes. North Dakota's been called for Bush, 3 electoral votes. Nevada is still too close to call. Virginia is still too close to call. And there goes another swing state for Bush. Iowa, 7 electoral votes. So now it is 182 to 172. This is a close election, folks. Close one. Nail biter we got on our hand. Arizona's still too close to call. That one's very close. 30% of the vote is in Ohio. Bush is slightly ahead, but it is extremely close there. Kerry's starting to pull away a little bit in Pennsylvania. Wisconsin's still too close to call. Arizona also very close, still too close to call. Nevada still too close to call. Pennsylvania, it's like Bush getting a little more narrow. Now the West Coast states have finally closed. Okay, let's go to California. Idaho's been called for Bush, 4 electoral votes. Oregon has been called for Kerry, 7 electoral votes. Kerry's got a pretty big lead in California. Now he is projected over 270 here. If he can win the states he's got right now, he will be the president. Hawaii's been called for Kerry, 4 electoral votes. If he can get the 55 out of California, he's going to be very close here. And he's got to win Pennsylvania. Keep that in mind. This may come down to Pennsylvania, folks. Pennsylvania and Nevada. And of course California, which is Kerry is pulling away in California. Look for him to project that one any minute. 54-44. You see the hard count right there. California called for John Kerry, 55 electoral votes. Now it's 248 to 176. That means if Kerry wins either Ohio or Pennsylvania, this thing is over. And we're going to end this part of it right here. So tune in for part 3. Right now you've got Kerry at 248, Bush at 176. Bush has got to somehow win Pennsylvania, Ohio, Nevada, Arizona. He's got to take the rest of these in order to win. So tune in.